Hello and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm the executive producer here, John Bates, and I've got a few pre-show notes for you. First of all, I'd like to thank our $25 tier supporters, Antitonic, Waterflame, Samantha Bates, and Maureen Montee, without whom we wouldn't be able to do much, especially not all the content that we put forward now. I also want to thank all the people that have joined on with us since the, I would say, successful experiment that was Midsummer Night's Stream. If you're interested in that, go check out our YouTube channel, where youtube.com/Sensaku, where we performed the world's first, as far as we're aware, live stream production of a community theater performance of A Midsummer Night's Dream. That sounds like a lot of qualifiers. It's more just because that's the way I talk. Please go enjoy them, give us feedback, let us know if you'd like to see more of that in the future. If you'd like to support us financially, you can do so on our Patreon page at patreon.com/FSFilms. You can also follow us on Twitter at Final Show Films, or follow me personally at John A. Bates for all future updates and live notifications for our live stream. In the meantime, sit back, relax, enjoy. Hello, everybody. Give me a second while I fix this and Aaron introduces us, because stuff happened. Not anymore, you're not. As we all do. We're good. We're good. I mean, makes sense to me. I am always prepared for box text. Oh, hang on. Wait. Stop. OBS did the thing where it stops listening to itself. You should now be able to hear everyone else. Thank you, Cody, another Pale Gamer, for letting us know.
Sorry about that. Do I need to go over a brief version of the summary or no?
You can just start from where you were at a second ago.
Okay. Having awakened from a mutual little daydream about the bloody barber lackeys, the group has arrived at the house of Elry Devrin. Everyone needs to at some point put their names in their Roll20 names. Relnor, you probably are most familiar with Kellery. She is a local scholar and noble who lives in the nicer part of this city. The rest of you have had some level of dealings with her or learned that she is sort of calling upon a group. As you sort of knock, as one of you goes to knock on the door, a woman with windswept hair and a sort of very bookish and physically inept demeanor opens the door. It's good of you to join us.
Same demeanor I have.
Thank you all for coming. Come in. She brings you into a small sitting room where I think the first thing a lot of you would notice, aside from the fact that Tiger has followed you into the house, is there's sitting sort of in one corner upon a chair that they have turned into. Have you ever seen, or as a kid, did you ever make those like forts out of all of the pillows and all of the blankets?
Yes.
Yep.
There is a small goblin within a fort of pillows and blankets who eyes you. Kellery doesn't seem particularly worried about or uncomfortable with the goblin woman. Come, have a seat wherever. Many of the more upholstered chairs have had their cushions removed for this fortress, but there's dining room tables set around.
There's about a beat that passes before Gunford's like, "Are we just not going to talk about this?"
I will explain in a moment. Refreshments, anyone?
Yes,
She
please.
gestures sort of to her maid.
I will take whatever's offered.
Yep.
Something strong.
Water, please.
Yeah, I'm with the other guy. Something strong. And Rimnell kind of walks over and climbs into one of the chairs.
Mm-hmm.
I will sit on a chair that does not have a cushion, as if that does not bother me at all.
As if. I will sit on a chair that does not have a cushion, and it does not bother me at all.
Gunford stands.
as the drinks are sort of brought back in, I suppose, begin with my circumstance. I am set to, in 7 days' time, head out to a small village that is just starting and is consecrating its temple. And I was to take a family heirloom, the Star of Desna, with me to have it consecrated alongside the temple in the city of Sandpoint, because the city does have a name. And while I was there, I went down into storage to retrieve the artifact. It's an heirloom, but I don't wear it or regularly. I discovered my storeroom sacked with a large hole in the floor and wall of the room. I was, that's where I attacked, met person whose name really should be highlighted. Good job, GM. Telga. He discovered her hiding in my room, and we came to an understanding that Telga, I think this is more your story than mine. The goblin sort of licks her lips, looks at you. Telga, his tribe stole the things, stole the dig under, but bad new boss, the new one is the new leader, Dracus, is bad, and so Talga and the others tried to rebel, tried to fight and run away because and we were on a raid, so we fought and tried to run away, and everyone died, and Talga hid, and Miss Kellery wants the things we took back, and so Talga can give you a map. Talga doesn't want to go back to the bad new vampire boss man, but can tell you what is in Mudshore home, Talga's old home.
So if I'm
Right.
understanding this correctly, we're to recover stolen items from your home, I say, indicating the goblin.
Bad new vampire brought us to sewer home. From there, we dug a lot and sewers and took things from home, like this one home.
Wait, run me by this again. It's a vampire boss.
I do feel like the lead got buried a little bit there.
Dracus is bad. Dracus drinks the goblins. Dracus is vampire. Hobgoblin.
A vampire hobgoblin.
There are
Fucking
blood bodies. Bloodless. Sorry, that was the GM. There are bloodless bodies. To remind everyone to not be bad and betray Dracus.
Right.
All right. Then any.
So, can we have that drink now?
Yeah, the maid has brought you your drinks.
I like to think that Ribnal has finished his, just asking anyways with an empty cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Gunford got it. Was like clang. Yeah. Refilled me now.
Gorgon
Maid
Ash
will go and get you more drinks.
Gorgon Ash doing the very tea ceremony thing of just kind of cupping the glass of water that he's got with both hands and just slowly taking a sip.
I have a wine. I have a flute of wine that I haven't touched.
So Mm. Fuck it. Okay. Vampire hobgoblin. Goblin tribe. How many we talking about here?
Counts on our fingers. Less than many.
2.
Than many. Mudchewers were a big tribe, but we keep dying because Dracus is.
Because
Doesn't
you have a
like this to be.
vampire leading you. And vampires get hungry.
Well then,
Where
Jeez.
is their old home?
Down in sewers. I can draw you a map.
that would be great.
Toraxalis. Oh, good. Sewers, too. This just gets better and better. All right.
Mm.
Go down, dug hole into sewers, into new old home.
And what else is down there other than goblins and a vampire?
Sewer things. There's lots of things that the sewer has that's not bad. Vampire's bad. There's
When we say
the
sewer
big
thing,
mushroom. There's the big mushroom. That's
It's like, ooh, mushrooms?
mushroom. All
Mushroom.
right. Let's put a pin in that for a moment. When we say sewer things, are we talking like, sewage and rats? Or are we talking like big alligators?
What sewers have you been in that have giant alligators?
Look, I'm saying there's some weird shit in sewers. And I ain't just talking about the shit.
middle things. The
Bigger
things
than
that-
rats, less than alligators. Okay.
Anything like traps?
Checks this adventure for alligators because I don't think I saw any.
Anything like traps or that kind of thing? Hidden alcoves?
The goblin, our den, not living room, but den has secret trap and secret treasure.
Okay.
Dracus doesn't know about the secret treasure. The secret treasure is goblin treasure.
On the map, could you show us where the trap is?
I think you used the wrong tense there, Goblin.
Which part of it was confusing to... So, you guys should now be able to see a map, which let's assume is crudely drawn.
All right.
Rather than very well drawn, yeah.
We will assume.
I was
it is
going to
true.
make a cartoony version, but I decided it was better to do this. Okay. Goblin home here.
Okay.
Their secret goblin treasure here. Their trap here. Pointing to the same room over and over
Right.
again.
So,
right,
This
so-
is living room.
So, where's the living room?
Ping
I
the
believe-
big long one on the left.
Okay, like,
this space.
Here, this one.
yeah, that one.
That might be a
That's the living
clearer way
room?
of pointing, actually.
Right. All right, so let's circle around back to this giant mushroom business.
The mushroom's icky. We have to eat the mushroom to feel sad and do what Dracus says.
That just said a lot and
Does
so little at the same
does
time.
that mean anything to me?
I was gonna say, can I
That-
get a nature roll off that?
I feel like yes, but let me
Or-
check which role that's supposed to be.
or occultism, or I have all the knowledges.
Or an
Yeah,
arcana.
give me half a second, but I understand what you are asking for, and the answer is yes, you can roll about it.
Okay.
Roll a thing.
Roll
The best part is my knowledge is dubious.
it. Depending on what it is.
Well, I mean,
It's psychedelic mushrooms. Can I?
if
Okay,
I fail the
um,
roll, I still get 2 pieces of information. One is true, one is false, and I don't get to know which is which.
So there's a nature check. It's yeah. I'm just going to modify the DC because you're not actually looking at it right now.
Okay.
But yeah, nature would be the correct check to
Where is my
identify.
Oh,
Make a nature check.
That's
I
an
have-
11 for me.
I have a +4.
That is a natural 20.
That is an 8
Okay,
with a
So with-
+4.
with an 11, Relnor, you're not entirely sure. Obviously, mushrooms can do things, but that's about all you know.
Some sort of thing doing mushroom.
Or a mushroom that just tastes bad. It's also possible that this goblin ate a bad mushroom and doesn't like the taste, so felt sad.
Some sort of potentially thing doing mushroom.
Yeah. Relnor. Wait. Relnor just went. Gunford.
Yes.
You know that mushrooms can let me check the
Yeah,
you
with
have
my
dubious knowledge. Remind me what that
Yes.
does.
So with my feet, even if I fail a recall knowledge check,
Mm-hmm.
I get 2 pieces of information. One of them is true, one of them is not, and I don't get to know which is which.
Do they have to be about the thing you're trying to recall knowledge about?
The book is not specific on that. Hold on just a
I
minute.
feel like it's fair to say that they are, but
Okay, specifically, you're a trove of information, but not all of it is from reputable sources. When you fail a recall knowledge check using any skill that has that action, you learn 1 bit of true knowledge and 1 bit of erroneous knowledge, but you don't have any way to differentiate which is which.
okay.
That's the entire text.
You know that let's see.
As the DM thinks of what will be the truth and what will be the lie.
Yeah, kind of, and also reads it over, so I'm sure I get these things somewhat in order. You know that most sporish mushrooms of the variety that would be talked about would have specific interactions with fire damage. And you know that these kinds of sporish mushrooms regenerate. You don't know which of those things is accurate, but they're both.
I mean,
things
as far as I know, they might both be accurate. In character.
yeah, in character they might both be accurate. Feel like that's a fair thing. With the
that's
critical success, Ribnell, you are familiar with mind fog fungus for reasons that kind of make sense given your profession. Mind fog fungus can make people very easy to control and bully, especially if they consume it. The spores are also somewhat ambient in a place where it grows. It's challenging but not impossible to stop the spores from emitting and traverse safely past such plants. Is there anything else specific you would be looking to know?
Not really. Not beyond
No.
that. Just wondering
Yeah.
what they are.
So that's what it reads to you as.
Okay. So where on this crudely drawn map is this
We're-
big
we're-
old
the
Big ol'
fungal forest.
sad trip.
It's not a bad trip. It's a sad trip.
The sad trip. Oh, believe me,
I mean,
a
I feel
bad
like it's a
trip,
bit of both, but
a sad trip is usually also a bad trip.
this one.
Okay,
Okay, so it's
stay the
Fun
fuck
there.
away from there. Got it. Any you good with fire?
I pull out a torch.
got a candle.
Good with fire.
I'm particularly efficient at lighting a torch, yes.
Right. Avoid that room. All right, got it.
Aside from that, no, I'm not. There aren't a whole lot of fire spells at low level.
All right, so what kind of resistance are we going to be looking at in the living room?
I know a lot of mud chewers are gone, but the ones who are left are the ones that do everything Dracus says, because everyone who disobeyed is dead, and gone. Dead is gone. Dead's not fighting.
Right. No.
Um,
In most cases, you're not fighting after you've died.
But not in all cases. As
I mean, we are
evidenced
talking about
by
a
the
vampire.
yes.
that seems
So-
to scare her. Congratulations.
So what you're saying is
Perhaps
you're not necessarily incredibly attached to these people that are remaining.
They were tribe, but Talga understands that stopping them is important, and as long as Dracus is alive, they won't stop doing what Dracus says.
Rock on.
I think that's enough. Big trap in the den, treasure in the den. Where's Dracus? I say, indicating the map.
Typically.
Typically.
The NPC leader stays in this one position always.
Dracus can move.
Just walks back and forth by about 10 feet.
Dracus is usually past here. Talga doesn't know what's back here. I think you can see that there's a doorway after which there's a fog gate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doorway there.
After which there is a fog gate.
the fog gate to the boss battle room.
Sorry, that
Wait.
was unintentional but not inaccurate.
All right, I got one more question for you.
Olga.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to your name. I'm just gonna call you Greenie.
She seems to accept that.
The half orc turns.
Don't even get me started on you. So this sewer, I realize that sewers are sewers, but some sewers smell worse than other sewers. How bad is this particular reek?
Bad. Very, very bad.
I look at our benefactor. Can I get some tiger-sized nose plugs? Because Bitey is not going to be happy otherwise.
Just put a mask over his
I
face.
think it's very interesting.
I don't know where I'd acquire such a thing.
Do you have any? Do you have any
Use a bucket.
like
Cut out some holes.
doilies? Doilies will work.
I am.
Yes, I have some doilies. I also believe, Talga, from what you've told me, that you'll be traveling through the sewer to get there.
Right.
This seems to be some other structure.
I mean, that's good.
connected.
That means that once we get out of the sewers, I can take take the doilies out, and then
I'll get you
Bitey
some
will-
doilies.
You're awesome.
I'm
She sort of
fascinated.
gestures to the poor maid who's sort of been refilling your glasses, and
I am fascinated to learn what a smell that a goblin says is bad smells like.
Yeah, I am not fascinated. I am dreading.
And during this time, Ribnell's like keeps asking for more drinks. He drinks part of it, and he's pouring the other part into a wineskin.
Should we describe ourselves for the audience at some point, by the
Yeah,
way?
at
No, that's
some
probably
point we
good.
should probably do character introductions. Sorry. As you're sitting around this room, why don't you describe what you're doing and what you look like? Starting with Ribnell.
I'm Ribnell Thibblestep. He's a gnomish alchemist. So he's got all kinds of accrement, bottles, decanters, things like that strapped around him, hanging off of his backpack. He's short, just barely above 3 feet tall, slight beard, white hair, and yeah, he's been ordering a lot of drinks.
Okay.
Not yet.
Gorgonash.
So, wearing most of what was previously before he had come to this place, a set of very simple crimson robes, having now disrobed most of the upper body just because of the uncomfortable heat relative to the frozen climes that he is used to. Is this sort of very tall, very muscular half-orc with this sort of vibrant green complexion, long black hair, sort of tied back into a large ponytail with red cloth, and a pair of sort of bone bracers, with his sort of like slightly lighter breeches and leather boots with tattoos all across his torso, and just sort of slowly sipping of this small glass of water.
Okay.
Is Gorgonash.
Relnor.
Elnor stands at about 5'8". Has shaggy black hair that sort of hangs down to about chin, sort of jawline level, which covers the slightly rounded and slightly elongated tips of half-elven ears. Looks mostly human for a half-elf, like a very lithe and lean human. Wears a long, sort of dark blue, almost black coat, as opposed to robes that mages typically wear, with a black tunic, a very well-made but simple black tunic, pants and boots, kitted like sort of the very typical adventure scholar, with a bag that emanates the smell of ink and thesis papers, several daggers sort of on his belt. Has a wine glass that he hasn't touched, just sort of sitting there with a vaguely faraway look on his face that almost.
Nope.
My hope.
And Gunford.
Oh yes, and Dunford, who
Yes.
I totally.
It's all
didn't
good.
think- Yeah.
So Gunford, as you might have guessed, is a dwarf. A pretty standard height, like a little bit over 4 feet. Has sort of a blonde coloring in his blonde coloring to hair and beard that looks like it's going gray early. And he just has a general demeanor about himself of, like the stereo sort of the quintessential, like, almost private eye who's just like gets up, rolls out of bed, grabs a glass of something for to start his day so he can deal with his opening mornings of consciousness. He's got that sort of feel to him. He's a little grizzled, dressed in studded leather, has a crossbow on his back, um, two hammers, and two hammers, and I believe it was a warhammer on his belt. Yep. And just has a look of far older than he actually is in his eyes, and sitting next to him, far more well behaved than he is a orange and black striped tiger who is bigger than him.
Mm.
And he's been matching Ribnell drink for drink.
Okay.
Except where Ribnell's pouring them into a flask, he's pouring them into himself.
Yes.
All right. Cool. So, at this point, Calvary will speak up. Feel free to stay as long as you need to prepare. I'm sure Talga can let you know any details you want to ask her. My hope is that you'll be able to retrieve the star, which has a full name, within 7 days, as that's when I'm set to head off to have it consecrated.
Anything that we need to know in particular about the star? Have I seen it before?
You probably have not seen it before, as it is not something she takes out of
What
storage.
does it look like?
Gonna go
Yeah.
do holy ritual stuff.
Identifying marks, general, general look, whether we'll be stricken dead if we touch it, that sort of thing.
And did they take anything else?
No, it's unspecifically a family heirloom, and as far as I can tell, does not have any curses or special effects on it, other than that someone wants to consecrate it. This information will be edited by your GM if they failed to read something later.
Yeah, then just a standard description.
Yeah,
Yep.
You receive one.
Cool.
Did they take anything else?
Basically anything that was of reasonable
Not nailed
value
down.
carried. Yes. As you'll see when you head down there, the basement is entirely trashed. Some from the raiding, and presumably some from Talga's fight with.
Do we get a bonus if we return the silverware too?
I'm sure that I and the other townsfolk and friends of mine that I know have been robbed would be quite grateful if everything was returned. Yes.
Well, then, let's go ahead and get on our way. I think we've got everything we need.
Okay.
I do.
Right.
Yep.
Unless any of you have more questions. You head down through the basement and following Talga's instruction through the sewers. The sewers themselves are
Did I get the doily?
unpleasant. Yeah.
Did I get the
Sorry.
doily?
Yes, you get the doilies.
Okay. But he is very not happy about having a doily stuffed in his nose. But,
I feel like
better
that
than
has
having
been
it.
glossed over. Bitey is the tiger.
Bitey is the tiger, yes.
I'm not in the front. What are you doing?
Okay, you're free to move yourselves around. I copy pasted you from the other.
No. That's fine.
Gun-
Also, be
definitely
sure
moves
your hit points are restored to maximum, as you have not fought anything. You just hallucinated that.
Ribnell basically take out of his alchemy kit whatever he uses when he's mixing noxious things. He puts that mask on.
You arrive eventually at an entrance that might actually have some box text to it.
Along the way, I will make any introductions that have not been made previously before the story began.
Yeah, I was a little unclear on who knew each other, but now you all roughly know each other. And at this point, I'm going to say everyone just name your class for the audience. I feel like most of them are obvious, but...
Nope.
I am a half-orc monk.
I am a half-elf imperial sorcerer.
I'm a gnomish alchemist.
Hold on. Swallowing. I am a ancient blooded dwarf ranger.
All right.
Trail nor weave. Oh.
I feel like the person who is least familiar with the party as a whole is probably Gorgonash, being from a completely different region of the world and the Pathfinder Society.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You
Gunford
you
probably.
were kind of on higher as compared to the rest of these people who just knew her.
Gunford. I don't imagine Gunford hanging with Railnor much.
I mean, unless you need a thesis paper written.
All right, fuckers, let's get to it. This shit ain't gonna rescue itself.
The shit isn't what we're here to rescue. It's more valuable items, things
There's-
that have been stolen from.
I believe that was an expression.
Oh, I know. I just like being pedantic when people say things like that.
Yeah, you and me are gonna get along great.
I tend to get along with most people.
I don't believe you.
You know a lot of pushovers.
The charred tunnel entrance on this northern side of the cistern. I guess you're coming north from where you were.
Right.
That's what it's supposed to mean. Is the primary entrance to the Ashen Odyssey, whose name you probably were supposed to find out from one of them.
Yeah.
Oops. There's the clear evidence of a fire, perhaps a few years ago. Oh, that chars even this external area that you're entering through. There is slimy small pools, but of water as you walk into this area. But it doesn't seem that this area has for quite a while contained actual sewer water.
What's the
Right.
what's the temperature like down here?
It's not hot or boiling, but there is the unpleasant chill of this is of the underground and more so of sewage. Who does and doesn't have dark vision to what extent?
That I was literally just about to ask that.
I
I have low light vision.
I
I have
also
dark
have
low
low
light.
light vision.
I have full on dark vision, and Bitey has low light vision and scent,
Fair enough.
which is an actual thing in
So-
Pathfinder.
This area is completely dark. I assume you've been using a torch to navigate through the sewers. Would you like to continue doing that? And what would you like to do as you enter the
So
first area?
Gunford holds a hand out just really quick. Hold on, let me check. And takes the torch that he's been using.
Mhm.
Assuming somebody else. Well, let's be honest. Whether somebody else has one or not. And
Ribna will be
jabs
using a
it down
hooded
into the
lantern.
slimy water just to test something.
Okay.
I have a lantern as well.
Ribna
Yeah.
will be using a
Let
lantern.
me.
Which slimy water do you jab it into?
He is taking a step forward, so over to this, and like he's very he like gestures to sort of,
Mhm.
and Bitey takes a step back.
As you're sort of walking along, you generally spot bits of bone and food scraps and general detritus and trash. And you're jamming I don't even know what kind of thing that is because this is a new system. As you jab your torch down in, I'm gonna say it does go out.
Okay. But do I hear any sounds of pain or a reaction that has been
Yeah,
something different than what water would do?
Does the water reach
Yeah,
out and grab him?
definitely do as a glob of ooze.
I swear, I fully expected the torch to just go out.
As a glob of ooze, I'm gonna say was actually right on that spot because it's dramatically appropriate.
Sweet.
Slides up. And we're going to roll initiative.
Gunford's only response as he sees the copy of it is, "Ho ho, you motherfucker!"
Did you know that would work?
I don't trust slimy water. That's all I'm gonna say.
Note of that. Relnor will remember this.
Gonna delete Bitey because Bitey doesn't actually have an initiative.
Yep.
And everyone roll, I believe.
Bitey also seems to have an
No one
exposed
said
skeleton.
they were doing anything specific before combat started, so I'm gonna say everyone's gonna roll perception.
I
Cool.
rolled an 18, which makes it 20.
I rolled a 2, so that makes it a 4.
Guys,
I rolled an 11 that makes it a 13.
that was a natural 20 on its behalf.
Sweet.
How's its perception modifier?
I say,
It doesn't use perception because it was hiding.
Ah,
how is
Yep, it
whatever
uses
modifier
stealth.
it was using?
Probably pretty good.
plus
Very
6.
good.
Good to know.
Fortunately,
Yeah.
I'm not right next to it.
For fuck's sake. I closed the bestiary while I was doing the prep fight, didn't I? My bad.
Time to fight the ooze.
I'm
Yep.
gonna save that for when we, because I only have 3 spells.
I mean, you have several days if you want them.
You also have
This
cantrips.
is GM talk for you might not want to deal with this entire dungeon without a rest.
Yeah, I do. I also have cantrips. Use the cantrips to find out what I need to, what I should be.
All right. Cool. My bad. There we go. Also, because the flavor is hilarious and not necessarily relevant, it has a -3 to self unless it's in sewers, in which case it gets a +6. It would be
Nice.
really obvious if it wasn't in a sewer.
I love that worked. I legitimately thought it was going to be a great moment of, "Tss, why did you just put out the torch? Because you can never tell with slimy water."
And then 2 steps later, a slime pops up.
Yeah, well, okay. In this case, it
Yeah, no, I love this.
yeah. But it's going first, so it gets its 3 actions.
Sweet.
First,
Slap, slap, slap.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah, everything's within 20 feet. So I'm going to ask everyone to make me a reflex save.
Okay.
Oh, God.
I'm not terrible at those.
That's not my best.
It's actually my worst save.
Actually, it's equal to my best, actually.
I'm good at all the saves.
We
That
know.
would be a 23.
That is a critical success.
I got a 22.
I have a 20 total.
Critical success.
I rolled an 8.
Critical success.
I rolled an 18.
18 is still a success. It is not a critical success. All of you are fine. Bitey also needs to make this roll.
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
Bitey. No, that's fine. On just a second here. It is proficiency. Why is it? Okay. So he gets +3. 14.
A 14 is not a success. Sorry.
Of course, Bitey got fucked up.
As
Bitey dies.
all of you sort of brace and kind of jump out of the way, this glob of muck and mess with bits of various decomposing things on it spews out its disgusting filth wave. All of you manage to get out of the way, and as you look around to see how your companions have done, Bitey is covered in muck and is hampered 10 feet, which means that Bitey's movement speed is reduced by 10 feet until the condition is removed. An affected creature can and clean off the muck with an interact, reducing the condition by 5 feet with each action. Bitey also takes 2 points of acid damage from this. The rest of you are completely fine. Belnor, you feel like you cut it a bit closer than the rest of the group, but you're all good.
I ducked just in time as it sneezed.
Versus everyone else who's just like already out of the way.
Yeah.
What's the demarcation line of critical success and critical failure?
Criticals. So whatever the DC is, 5 more than that is a critical success, or a natural 20 is always a critical success.
And then I assume the reverse is true for critical failure.
The reverse is true for critical failures.
Okay. Cool.
Bitey did not critically fail. And not everything has a critical failure outcome.
Yeah.
For example, this doesn't get worse on a critical failure.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's its first action. With its second action, it's going to make a melee attack against the guy who just stabbed it with some fire.
Whenever an ooze attacks, I know that like they have like pseudopods that they can just lash out with, but whenever an ooze attacks in any game, I am now forever imagining the Dark Souls oozes that just like rise up for a minute and then shoot
this dice
spikes
anymore because I think it might be cursed against you guys.
Did it crit on me?
Yeah, that's the same guy that crit on you during the playtest, which is why I'm not using it anymore.
Sweet. No, keep it up.
I've got healing potions.
Not all of us want to die, Jeremy.
So yeah, I may use it again later because it's a very pretty die, but I don't want to kill you with the first encounter.
I mean, we would learn something important.
Let's see. So far, I've rolled a 20 and a...
my damage dice don't like me. You take a total of 4 bludgeoning damage and 6 acid damage as this creature flings a pseudopod off of itself.
Ow!
Slaps onto you.
Oh,
I mean, I know the dwarf has a ton of hit points, but that's half of my hit points.
That's more than half of my hit points.
That was a fairly successful crit.
That was almost half my
your
crit.
first level character.
Yes. Oh no, that's fucking fine. My next character is gonna be a druid.
It is worth keeping that in mind. Yeah.
My next character is going to be a fighter.
And
I'm not even thinking.
And if I survive, if Bitey survives and I don't, Bitey becomes the druid companion.
Sure. It is mindless, so it's actually going to make another melee attack at you with the penalty.
Sweet.
-5.
Roll another crit.
I believe a 9 misses you, correct?
A 9 does miss me, correct.
Okay. You are fine. As the second pseudopod, you're prepared for it this time and just duck. It's not that hard. It aims way over your head.
Getting hit with that first one puts you on notice.
Yeah. Crits are nasty in this game. Good thing to know for feedback. Okay.
Yeah, because they happen a lot more often in this game than they do in other things.
Relnor, character turns.
Yep. Okay, so never mind. What I was gonna do.
As important feedback, as dangerous as crits are, because they're doubling everything except for crit unique damage modifiers.
Yep.
They happen very frequently because you only have to beat their armor class by 5.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
I thought it was beat it by 10.
You may be right. I may have misread that rule.
Even by 10 is a lot more frequent than just when you roll a natural 20.
It's true, but yeah, no. A critical success is a degree of success that results from a check that results in 10 or more higher than a difficulty class.
That's good to know in the future.
Same with critical failure.
It doesn't really matter for anything that's happened so far, but I messed it up.
Well, because like 10 or more higher is difficult at level 1, but
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna cast a spell.
Okay.
I'm going to use all 3 of my actions to cast Magic Missile, which is a modular attack that can do. I can use any number of actions to cast it, and it increases its damage each time.
I believe that doesn't have an attack roll. Am I correct?
You are correct. It just deals damage. Each action shoots a missile. So
All right.
that's going to be.
Like how you can shoot one missile with magic missile now.
Yeah. Each action is a missile, and if you cast it at higher levels, each action shoots an additional missile.
Okay.
So 3d4 plus 3 damage.
Exponential damage.
4, 2, and 3. So 5, 4, so 19, sorry, 9, not 19, 9 points of damage.
I was gonna say
Blam, blam, blam.
green giant.
I wave my free. I'm holding my hooded lantern in my left hand, so I wave my right hand, and as I do, three bolts of purple energy just in an arc.
You said that was 9 total damage?
9 total damage, yes, and it's force damage.
All right.
Yes, force damage.
That seems to have made a dent.
Literally, because
So
it's
Gunford.
All
Gonna
right,
be your turn.
all right, you slimy piece of shit, come here. And I am gonna smack it with my Warhammer for my first action.
Okay.
21.
A 21 will hit.
Okay.
And
So that is nice. That is
so interestingly, this creature is apparently immune to critical hits.
okay. Good
That
to
makes
know.
sense. It doesn't have anatomy to critically hit,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
So that is 8 bludgeoning damage.
It's also because its AC is 5.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
generally speaking, things that don't have vital organs can't be critically hit.
Well, I mean, I will say before I knew its armor class was 5, I was going to do this anyways. I'm hitting it again and again.
Okay.
He's just a flurry of blows without being a monk.
out of
Okay. Keep
curiosity.
in mind that it goes down to -5 and then -10, but
Correct.
your thing.
As a curiosity, GM,
Yep.
are things that are immune to critical hits immune to critical failures?
I feel like they still critically fail. It's just that they don't take extra damage from a critical hit as opposed to a normal hit.
The reason why I ask is because with my electric arc spell, if it critically fails the reflex save, it deals double damage.
Worth being specified.
feeling in the moment is we'll check it later, but I'm gonna say that critically failing something still matters to
Okay.
it.
Wait, actually, for my second action, I should have done this on my first action, but it doesn't really matter. Actually, I'm going to designate it as my hunt target.
Mhm.
That means the multiple attack penalty is my attacks are basically agile now.
Okay.
If I actually use an agile weapon, it's even lower. But my penalty is only -4 now,
Sure.
and would be -8 on a third attack. So
But you do lose the ability to make that third attack right now.
correct, because it does take an action. So that is 10 -4 is 6 plus 2 is 8.
Okay. An 8 succeeds.
For 2 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Because rolling a 1 on a d8 sucks.
Out of curiosity, does Bitey get to do anything if you don't command Bitey?
If I don't command him, no, I don't believe so.
There's no ongoing damage, but he is still covered in muck.
Yeah, no, he is just standing behind me in that cat looking miserable because he's wet.
Yeah, basically.
Just sort of in shock of being like covered in goop.
Okay. That's gonna make it Gorgonash's turn, I believe.
Yep. So Gorgonash with torch in one hand just kind of slides over here. Would you like some help? And with my second action, I will enter the stance of the dragon, which, as described in the stances, mostly kicks, so I will have no problem hitting this thing while holding a torch. And then use Flurry of Blows to kick this thing twice.
Stomp it out.
So Dragon Tail Strike. That's a 16 on the die, which makes it 21.
That'll hit.
And so that will be 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
You continue smashing this thing.
And second one, it's an 18 on the die, so 23.
What's the damage?
Which will be 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right.
11 points of bludgeoning damage.
So you
Which counts as one hit.
All right. So with your final hit, you kick through this thing. And Ridnell, before you get to do anything, you were a bit slow on the reaction. The ooze just slops off of Gorgonash's foot back into a pile. There's some decomposing bones and just general grossness, a bit of what could have been food at one point.
That's why I'm glad I wear boots.
That's why I stabbed slimy water.
Fair
Mel
enough.
suddenly goes, "Oh my God, the sewer's attacking us!" No, wait.
I pull out a journal and a quill and write something.
It's just a journal entry that says attack slimy water.
Oh no.
I really hope that comes back at some point.
Would you like to test the other puddles?
I can do that if you want to patch yourself up real quick.
Maybe you want to like throw rocks in the puddles next time?
Not the worst idea. This one has a bit of a brain.
I pick up a rock and chuck it in the next puddle.
I go over and start drying off my tiger.
Everything's a bit slimy, but you determine that there are no more sewer oozes that didn't decide to join the first fight for some reason.
Okay.
Always worth checking. Right.
All right, kiddo, you're fine.
Rimnell's gonna start gathering up a whole bunch of little tiny small rocks, and yeah, he's gonna be
In
tossing
between
them at.
combat, it's reasonable to take 2 actions and just get. The cat probably just does that shake thing that the way cats do it, where it's more of a shiver.
Where it starts at the front and just kind of like waves across the cat.
Yeah.
I step
Thus
out of
drenching,
the way.
thus drenching the page that Railnor is writing on.
I have very good. I have decent reflexes.
It smudges the corner a bit. None of the writing is disturbed.
Gorgonash, after seeing the cat dry off. Excellent. I know many monks at the temple who claim their stance takes after such a beast. Let's get moving, shall we?
Do we want to have Gunford patch himself on? Just in case.
Yes.
I am currently in the process of reading how you potentially do that.
Ribnell gives you a healing potion.
Ribnell, yeah, we'll hand you a healing potion if you
Oh,
want.
that's right. Did I buy healing potions? I did not buy healing potions.
If you would like one of these, this one will help you feel a little better. And it's 1d6.
Better living through alchemy.
If you'd like one.
If I have to make an Arcana roll on this, I will. But Is a healing potion, but he won't ask. Is a healing potion diluted to the point of being unusable if you mix it with alcohol?
I do not know.
I don't think
Would I
that's
know?
in the SRD, but I'm
I
going to
will-
say that you can make an Arcana.
Can I make an Arcana check about that?
Has it been
Yeah.
expressed to you in any way?
Oh, was that out loud or was that?
No,
No.
that is
Specifically, wouldn't
that was
ask
me
it.
asking. He would not ask this question.
He's a dwarf. You never
As
ask
long as he
questions about alcohol.
definitively doesn't believe the answer, as long as he definitively isn't sure the answer is yes, it will make it unusable, he's going to do it. So,
Yeah.
when
you
I
see
did
him
roll-
doing it, most likely, then you will be allowed to.
I did roll a 13, which gives me a 14 total.
I will say that is enough for a complete or non-critical success.
Okay.
From what you know, most alchemical processes are delicately balanced. It is highly likely that mixing in alcohol is both possible and requires a trained hand.
Secondary question:
You're
if I
pretty
down
sure
the
you
potion
don't
and
have-
chase it with a shot,
that
does
would
that-
be fine.
okay? Yeah,
You need to be a witcher to mix your
Yeah.
healing potions with alcohol.
he
Or
downs
an
the potion,
alchemist.
It's 1d6.
Or an
hands it
alchemist.
back, and as he's handing it back, the flask is up.
Yeah.
It only works if it mixes that way in your stomach. 1d6. All right. I got two hit points back.
2
I
hit
will
points.
remind you guys for
Ah,
possible relevance in the future that some of how healing works has been altered, and to refer to the Etra. I don't think healing potions are
Healing errata. Did anything useful happen?
just the treating wounds abilities.
Yeah. I don't have any healer's tools, so fortunately, that...
Yeah.
I
I
couldn't
just-
afford them.
I wanted to highlight that because I know people were looking at recovering.
all right, let's
Also-
go.
Treating wounds.
You would all be aware that
So yeah, it takes 10 minutes to use a healer's kit to treat wounds. But you can do it on up to 6 injured living creatures, including yourself if you so choose.
I did not take
and
a
you
healer.
head back into the dungeon. You're all sort of thinking about what you're going to need to do to get through this. Given that was a kind of rough first encounter to some extent.
Whitey is taking up the rear at this point.
Probably.
So through this area that you just came in through, it's a 10-minute trip back to the surface where you can rest, and there shouldn't be any issues with going back up there. But you do have a 7-day time limit for ideal situations.
Right.
That would be an appreciated time frame. It's not a hard limit.
I
We can just
mean,
take 10 minutes and retreat if we ever need to. Get to know.
Gunford's hope is to get this done before breakfast.
Well, we could at least poke around a little
It's
bit.
reasonable, except for it's past lunch at this point.
Tomorrow's breakfast.
I'm talking about next breakfast.
Yeah, it's
Gunford can have that hope.
I realized that was information that was important, and you'd know at this time.
Legit.
So you guys have one torch still out, one doused from fire,
I've
a
got my
tiger
lantern.
taking up the rear. Anything else I need to know about?
I feel like we are about to have an orc and a half orc and a dwarf try to both squeeze through an opening at the same time.
I am standing behind the two larger, the one larger one and one shorter one, with my lantern held up so they can see.
I mean,
The
the
dwarf is significantly more burly than you, so they're both larger than you to some extent.
Yes, but the dwarf is not taller than me.
Is not blocking the
You
light.
got
Yeah, which
one
I was saying.
lantern and one torch, or just one lantern?
I'm gonna.
I
put
have a
my-
torch. He has a
I have a-
lantern.
I have a lantern too. I'm going to tie the lantern to the top of my staff.
I love that look.
All right.
Does it
lanterns
swing and creak when you
Yeah.
walk?
Torch.
Slightly,
I
yeah.
really should turn on dynamic lighting, but I'm not going to because that would
Fine.
be a pain in the ass.
So yeah,
Um,
Gunford is walking forward and plans to. Looks like he's clearly like, well, I'm leading this group through this.
Mostly, I'm just holding the lantern up over, like, above Gunford's head so that Gorgonash can see.
So yeah, Gorgonash is. He's holding a torch, so he can also still see. But Gorgonash is like walking towards the entrance. Obviously, with like I have the light, so I guess I'll go in for. Oh, sure, and then let the dwarf go by, and then follow immediately after.
I'm a scout and I can see in the dark.
And Ribnell is taking the rocks that he's collecting. He's just flicking them in front of him as he goes.
Okay. So
Keep an eye out for traps.
Which isn't going to help the people in front of you.
Yeah.
But
We know of one. There may be more. At this point, I'll probably, just so that I have both hands free, I'll actually hide I'll hang my my lantern off a hook on my belt, so that it's sort of like on the front of my belt, looking forward, and my hands are free.
all right.
So yeah, Gunford is pushing through. He is keeping a little bit of an eye out.
Okay.
He's a scout. That's sort of what he does.
As you head further into this area, I'm sorry. Fuck you, Siri. What the hell?
I was waiting for Siri's voice.
Clearly, I heard the beep, and I was like, Siri's about to say
So
something.
I have had Siri completely off on my iPad since I got it, but apparently it decided that that's not fun. And Siri wants to play.
Has Siri talked to Google yet?
Oh God, yes. Shush.
And they go back in.
No, not quite that. It's just I will use the activation phrase for a Google device, and the activation phrase for Siri will be interpreted by Siri.
Yep. Just get Google, Siri, and Alexa all in one room
with Cortana.
And that's how Judgment Day happens.
That would be if any of them had the ability to say anything more. I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said. I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said. I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said. I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
All right. So yeah, I am. Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo.
I believe the living room area is next, according to the map.
Yes, that is what you have been told.
I say out loud to Gunford.
Gunford, as you head into this next area,
Gunford's attempts at stealth are completely ruined by my torch.
Gunford's attempts at stealth are completely ruined by Gunford's attempts at stealth because he is at a -1 to his stealth rolls.
Okay. Are you intentionally trying to stealth or just joking about stealthing?
I mean, he will, yes, because as far as we know, this is a living room that carries certain connotations and not just sofas.
I'm going to say roll for it.
Okay.
It's a living room. The room itself
is Gornash, are you following directly behind, or are you giving the stealth scout some time to stealth? Or are you also stealthing with a lantern?
With a torch.
I'm going to be walking quietly with the lantern.
I will. Yeah, I'll be stealthing insofar as I'm attempting to.
Because there's an order to how you guys are laid out. If that's not accurate, you guys can move yourself.
No, it is.
Yeah. I will be stealthing insofar as I'm trying not to make too much noise, but I'm fully aware that it's hard to visually stealth while carrying a torch.
Same.
So, are you following directly after, or are you giving the scout some room?
I think that depends on whether or not I can tell he's trying to sneak.
He is moving
It is obvious to
Carefully.
you what your allies' intent are.
Okay.
Jeremy, what was the roll?
It was a total of 14.
Okay.
Okay.
Then yeah, I will give him an amount of space.
All
You
right.
can hear the
so
violins going. Doot, doot, doot.
I'm gonna grab your token because
Yep.
that's just the easiest way to do it.
Cool.
And you scoot up to about here. The rest of you stay back behind the bend to give him some not light upset stealth potential. In the upper corner of this room, Gornash, you can
Gunford.
see 4 goblins. None of them seem to have noticed you at this time. They are all occupied in the top area of this room. Leaning against a column, there is the crudest stone representation of a hobgoblin that these goblins all seem to desperately be trying to get to stand up right and look good, and they seem to be arguing amongst themselves about making a good statue. Ooh, loyal, demonstrate loyal. I'll show Dracus. You
So-
hear this and can see it. They don't
Yeah.
seem to have spotted you.
So he looks back to where the party is. To see, hey, is Gorgonash in a spot where they can make eye contact?
Probably. He's like leaning
Okay.
around the corner,
Yeah.
probably.
So he holds up 4, hand out at goblin height.
Nod.
They definitely have dark
L
vision.
on forehead and points up ahead.
No.
Shape of an L.
Now, are these things holes or pillars?
Those are pillars, I believe.
Pillars.
That's what was, yeah.
Yeah.
And then at that point, Gunford is going to get behind the pillar and start sort of sneaking slowly up.
All right. What are the rest of you gonna do?
I will begin to follow.
Okay.
I will also follow.
Yep.
As those of you with light round the corner, the goblins all turn, seemingly abandoning their statue, having noticed this bright light. They will all turn. The statue almost immediately falling as the one who was holding one of the legs together or whips around to. I hate going back and forth to the bestiary. Note for next week.
Question.
Yep.
If they're paying attention to where the light source is, can I get a surprise shot off? Because I'm sort of around the other corner.
I'll say that they're flat-footed to you at this point.
Okay. I am going to, and I'm assuming I can only take 1 shot before it's not a surprise. I
Yeah.
not clear on, so I'm going to take a shot at this green motherfucker right here.
Sure. And we're all going to be rolling initiative as that's happening. Because you are currently stealthing, Gunford, you're going to be using stealth for this roll.
Okay.
For the initiative.
Okay, and I got a 16 on my pre-initiative attack.
Okay. A 16 will probably hit, but I need to get to the.
My initiative rolls have been pretty decent, so that's good.
Mine. This one wasn't.
Good and bad.
Future, I'm just gonna print out all of the things so I don't have to head through the book all the time.
I rolled a natural 1 on my initiative. Makes it a.
Oh, I don't need the DC 20 rare creature. I just need a fucking goblin.
Oh, goblins. I interpret that natural one as Gorgonash didn't actually pass back the information that there were goblins at. So it's just like, okay, whatever. I assume Bitey moved up with us.
Yes,
Jeremy.
Bitey is there.
Awesome. Oh, that's great of them. They rolled a whole 7 points. I should probably have left everyone on the initiative. Sorry.
So good. So you're gonna love this.
What did you roll?
I did 6 damage, assuming I hit.
Yeah, you hit.
Okay. And for my initiative, I am going, because my stealth is a -1, on 0.
Hey,
Great, you
I
don't
go
have to change your turn.
I go before you.
Because I rolled a nat 1.
So did I.
All right, everyone add your initiatives to the turn tracker.
Okay, we're both going after the goblins.
Yep.
This turn order is hilarious. There's a big gulf between the high rolls and the low rolls.
So, as these goblins have now noticed you, Gornash, for very fitting reasons, you are the most prepared to do another thing. I assume you hit the far one, by the way, Jeremy.
Yeah, this one I'm assuming is the only one I could probably have a shot at because of the pillars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay,
Oh.
cool. That makes perfect sense to me.
I will enter the stance of the dragon, and with my remaining...
How much hit? You did 5 damage, you said?
6.
Oh, sorry, that guy's dead.
Yeah.
I misheard you.
That's good to know.
I have no range attacks, so with my remaining
I do.
2 actions, I will just get right up in their grills.
Okay. Cool. Ridnell, you're next.
Oh boy. I'm assuming I can sneak past Relnor.
Yep.
I'm gonna be able to get me to 5, 10, 15. Be able to get to there. And how far away is that?
I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I apologize for the noise outside.
I can't hear anything.
Nope. That's one action. I am going to take out one of the rocks that I'm holding, and I am going to cast telekinetic projectile. And I'm going to aim at this guy right here. The
So,
first one.
Out of curiosity, how many actions does telekinetic?
That is 2, semantic and verbal.
Cool.
And so that is, I make a ranged attack. 11.
An 11 will miss, unfortunately.
Okay. And that's it for me.
All right.
The rock, hold the rock out of them. And it.
Oh, sorry.
I think that's it. Yep.
Okay.
That's there.
Yeah, it is their turn now. Also, John, I'm really sorry that every time I see your character, I almost call you Noctis, and at some point it's going to happen.
It's fine.
Um,
He has many Noctis-like qualities.
Including the fact
So
that his artwork is obnoxious.
including the fact that it's not artwork is
but I haven't even played the game. I feel like that's why it's particularly bad. Let's see. They have a weird ability that's going to require me to think about geography.
Woohoo! I think.
I mean, that's certainly your interpretation. Actually, yeah, that's what he's going to do. They're not bright. So this one's going to use, well, technically it's a move action, but use a move action to move there, which allows this guy to take his reaction to scuttle here.
Scuttle.
Because goblins are able to scuttle on their reactions. And then the two of them that are able to are going to make just normal short bow attacks at Garganash.
Yep.
Let's see. A 15 and a 19.
Both of those will hit me, yes.
Okay.
I'd love to be level 2 and have the ability to deflect arrows.
Yeah.
Not yet.
That is one of the disappointing things about this adventure is level 1 is kind of lame. You take a total of 6 damage as 2 arrows jet into your shoulders.
Okay.
That third one, having scuttled back, is now going to take an action to move.
I deflect arrows level 4. Yeah.
Key point is you can't do it now.
25 feet to there. Discover his dead friend.
I'd be
And
very surprised.
yeah. Just
Behind
move on.
the pillar. I almost called my character Gunhair. Gunford. Just sort of
All right. So that's gonna make it Relnor's turn because they're not great at being smart people.
Gun hair.
Gunhair.
But they are obsessively devoted.
I'm going to use my stride action. 5, 10, 20, 25. Can I?
There are pillars in between.
Yeah, like
you
yeah.
there,
Can
so
I?
there's-
Can I peer around the corner and see them, or are they completely covered from?
So I'm going to I'm gonna refer you to the page. Fuck. Sorry, I totally had this page up because I was looking at it for the goblins. So definitely counter. There's a visual aid. I'm looking for it. Sorry. I'm gonna refer you to page 313, which may be 312 in the PDF, which has information. Wait, sorry. 314, which may be 312 in the PDF, which can show you what counts as a line of sight to what extent.
Yep.
I believe you can see the one on the corner, but you'd be making that as a screened roll.
Okay, that's fine. Because
But you see what I'm talking about, right?
yeah, I see it. I see it.
Okay.
Yeah, so he has partial cover. He's screened from me.
Yeah.
I'm going to need the two. I'm going to need the two goblins next to Gorgonash to make reflex saves.
All right.
As I sort of lean out around the corner, raise my right hand, which summons a length of electricity to it, which I just lash out towards them.
Yeah. I guess screening does only apply to attack rolls. I just want to check. All right, reflex saves. They're not great at that.
Let me know if they roll a 5 or lower.
I will. Well, a natural 1 is a 5 or lower,
Hey.
and a natural 19 is a success. I swear, I am actively going to grab a different set of dice because that purple die is rolling way too well.
The one that rolled a natural 1 takes 8 points of lightning damage.
Okay, he's dead.
The one that rolled a 19 takes 2 points of lightning damage.
All right,
5.
he is alive. Barely.
Because I rolled a 4 and a 5.
Okay. Cool beans.
And then I...
Gunther, that makes it your turn.
All right. Bitey. Bitey goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Does moving through someone count as 10 feet of space movement?
I don't think so, but I will check again later.
30, 35. And you can do 2 move actions in a turn, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful. I am so Bitey is using the hold on just a second. I need to I believe it is Pounce is what it's called. Which
basically
is
a charge attack.
Basically it allows you to move and strike as one action.
Cool.
Oh, damn it.
Pounce is good.
286. Let's see. Yeah, cat pounce. You stride and then strike. If you were unseen, you remain unseen until after the attack. I don't think that he was unseen at this point.
You would have
That's
had
fine.
to take an action to hide.
So he's able to get up there because that's his movement is 35.
Mm-hmm.
And then he is biting.
Cool.
Because his name is Bitey. So of course he's biting.
Roll me your bite attack.
So that is with a plus with a +3, that is a 13.
13 will. Are you hitting the AC or the tactical AC? I believe you're hitting the AC.
AC, it's
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
By.
14 is a.
Okay, so he missed.
Yeah.
And then for my second action, I'm just moving there.
Okay.
Hey, Greenie, and I am firing a crossbow bolt at this at this asshole right here.
All right. Go for it.
Which is a my bonus for my crossbow +3 is that is a miss. That is a 12.
All right. Yeah. Sorry.
Then he glares like, "Well, fuck you too." You're not sure whether he's talking about the crossbow bolt or the goblin.
¿Por qué no los dos?
And that is my action.
Okay. That's going to bring it back to Garganash.
Yep. He was going to slip right in between these two goblins with his first action.
Okay.
And then is going to flurry of blows.
Go for it.
First, the one that he's flanking with Bitey, so it's -2 to their AC.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 17 plus my plus
That'll
5
hit.
will be 22. And it's a dragon strike, so it's a D10 damage plus my strength of 4, so that will be 11 points of bludgeoning damage to that one.
It's dead.
And then with my other foot, I basically do the jumping split kick to both of these.
Okay.
And then the other one, I roll a 14 plus 5 is 19 to hit,
That'll hit.
which will be 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right. You strike this last one through sort of fist to the face. And as he starts to bleed out, he cries, hey, something that you can't quite hear. Your hand reaching out towards the vague approximation of a hobgoblin, and as though in desperate reverence.
A smite kick separates his jaw.
Yep. A bit of foam just trickles out of his mouth, greenish and slightly sickly looking. And I think that's actually where we're going to end for the night.
All right. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
As soon as I find my mouse, goodbye.